Hello, everyone. Just gonna wait a second. Usually, when I had like a substantial amount of subscribers with my old channels, I used to send out the link to a bunch of people because I'm not sure if people have their notifications set or whatever to get the notification when I go live or whatever. I think it was yesterday. I did a live and it was talking about I was kind of triggered because of MRE's live and about Vinnie Green making up that story about him supposedly dying. And it kind of triggered me a little bit. So, when I came on live, I didn't really think through, some of the things that I wanted to talk about. And I started to talk about, this guy in Canada. And I want to draw more attention to this because since then, more stuff has come out. And I went down a rabbit hole and started doing some research about this to really kind of get to, the heart of the issue because as we figured out at the beginning of the year, mainstream media reports from a biased perspective. I guess from in the States, from what I'm told, the way that your news outlets are set up, they're privatized, which I wish that was the case here in Canada, but they're not. They are federally owned and operated by the government. So everything that they put out, has to more or less have that stamp of approval, pushing an agenda. So you kind of have to decipher with your own logic what's factual, what's truthful, what is actually going on. So I don't know if you guys remember me talking about this when I was talking about, back in January and February, on my last channel, if you guys have been with me for that long. I was talking about the truckers and all of us going down to the nation's capital, Ottawa, and protesting for the mandates. That's what it started off being. We wanted an end to all the mandates because, under the guise of a medical pandemic, they were slowly taking our human rights away, which in Canada is the equivalent to the Constitution. That's Canada's Constitution. It's our human rights, or sorry, the rights and freedoms, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So, there's been a lot of outspoken people, even more so than myself. And if you can believe that. And this guy, he's been in the press a lot lately. Hey guys. He's been in the press a lot lately, and I wanted to find out what's going on because I've noticed that, obviously the mainstream media will not do an interview with him. His name's Jeremy. So he goes on YouTube by The Raging Dissident. He also has another channel called The Raging Dissident 2. And he's a former Air Force veteran that was deployed. He served, I believe, 14 and a half years and was honorably discharged with the military. He had an exemplary record, never even been late in 14 and a half years. I can't even say I have that kind of, professional work record because my time is my time and, I try to be on time, but shit happens and, that's the way she goes. So, anyways, he's been popping up in the news a lot lately, and I wanted to kind of get to the heart of the issue. So I want to show you guys some stuff because I've been down this rabbit hole now for the last few days. I knew who he was. He's made quite the name for himself. And for me, I seem to like those loud kind of out of the box type of people. I don't like, a cookie cutter type of person who will say is politically correct or, I like people who speak their minds. I like people with a little bit of attitude, sass, charm, whatever you want to call it. Because that's the way that I am, right? I'm a great person, but I got a mouth on me and I know that. And it's a little bit potty mouth at times, but I am who I am and I'm not going to change for anybody. So that's kind of why I started watching this guy. But now I've been down this rabbit hole because there's some stuff coming forward and a lot of things are coming into play. So I'll give you a brief synopsis of the story and then we'll kind of dive into it because I really want to show you guys some stuff because I really, really think that this information needs to kind of be out there. Okay, so just to give you a brief synopsis, in January, February, we had the truckers protest and everybody fled to the nation's capital, Ottawa. And what started out as a peaceful protest to just simply say, you know, we're done living our life in confinement, in isolation, with all these restrictions, wearing a freaking face diaper, you know, our jobs being held hostage. If you don't take this, you know, thing that they're making you take, then you don't have a job. You know, that's coercion, that's extortion in my books. But hey, that's just my opinion. And I could be wrong. Maybe I should look up the definition of those words, but in my books, that's what it is. So anyways, what started as just a simple protest to raise awareness because we were a nation that was divided and still is, maybe not as much as we were a year ago, because we're having conversations now that a year ago we were not having. But what started out as just a simple protest to end the mandates really freaking shook the world, not just Canada, but the world. Because we uncovered a lot more than we ever thought possible. How corrupt the media is. They received a $600 million bailout package from our federal government. Why, would you ask? Why is that important to the federal government to own the media? Because then they own the narrative. Then they own, you know, what gets printed. They're trying to pass bills that censor our freedom of speech. That's in our Constitution, our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. They're currently being sued by the last living member who wrote the Constitution, as we call it, you know, as the Americans would call it, or in Canada, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. And a lot of our rights were taken along the way. And people were just seemingly okay with that. And I am not, because, you know, once they take those things from you, good luck in ever getting them back. Okay. So it was, I believe, the second time in history that Canada has ever used what was formerly known as the War Act or the War Measures Act. It's now called the Emergencies Act. There was a lot of controversy at the time, you know, when our prime minister made that decision. There was a procedure that was supposed to be followed. It wasn't. It basically gave everybody like a free-for-all. So the police had free-for-all powers, the banks had free-for-all powers, the politicians, everybody. Like, it was just kind of a shit show. And they turned on us. And the world watched in horror. And quite honestly, so did I. I was there. I seen it firsthand. A lot of people will say, oh, I seen it on TV. Well, if you've seen it on TV, then let me be the first to tell you that you didn't get a clear picture of what actually happened. Because any information or videos or anything that, you know, exposed the actual events as they occurred, you know, have been mysteriously scrubbed off the internet. Little do they realize that we all have backups of this stuff, right? So what has come out in the days since is there's an inquiry coming up, an investigation. It's starting on September 19th until October 28th, and it's to see if, which we already know that they didn't, but it's to prove to the world and to Canada and to everybody that, you know, Trudeau did not have the powers or follow the proper channels, procedures, protocols to implement this. And everything that was done under the guise of this act was done under unlawful orders. Where that goes from there remains to be seen, because again, this is not something that I've ever seen happen during my lifetime. Hey, Mandy, how are you? So this is going to be interesting coming forward to see what happens. But since this has happened, you know, the more time goes on, the more information comes out. So what I've heard recently, which I never heard until the other day, was that the reason why the Emergencies Act was called was because of this person that I'm going to talk about. And his name on YouTube is The Raging Dissident. His real name is Jeremy Mackenzie. I'm not doxing him. He puts it out there for everyone to see. He's got a very large YouTube presence, and like, you know, he's on every platform, but like the rest of us has all been censored and shit like that, right? So he's lost numerous channels and stuff, but he's making his rounds on, like, you know, the heavy hitters on YouTube, like Viva Frey. Like, he was a former Canadian that moved to Florida. He's got like a massive following. There's a couple other people that he's done interviews with recently, and some information has come forward that I really, really want not just Canada, but the world to see what's going on, because like the title says, you can't make this shit up. So I am not on my PC. I can't be bothered to hook it up because, you know, we're not in 1905 anymore. So I'm going to do this the ghetto fabulous way. And I am going to show you on my phone, from one phone to another, like my old phone. some material that I want you guys to see. So first I'm going to start off with who he is, what it's about, and what exactly happened in like under a 2-minute clip. Okay, so hang on one second. Just a second. How do I switch the damn camera around? Okay, hang on. So hang on. Okay, so for a couple minutes, I'm not going to be able to see the screen. So hang on. 1 second. Sorry, you guys. I should have been more prepared, but I wasn't really thinking. So,
story for you. It's a true story.
The federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act.
Diagalon.
Diagalon.
Diagalon. Diagalon.
Diagalon. Diagalon. A far-right extremist group. We're talking about a group that is organized, driven by an extreme ideology. A so-called accelerationist group.
Formed by a former member of the Canadian Armed Forces.
Which aims to accelerate racial conflict to lead to the eventual creation of a white ethno-state.
Its stated purpose is, quote, to incite a race war. Oh my God. Dude. It's fucking time. We're talking about a meme. Justify a state of emergency. They're super country. Dude, did we predict this on one of the old fucking streams? Remember Diagonal Country all the way to Alaska? Dude, you know, here it is, all the way from Florida, all the way up, super diagonal country.
The Justin Trudeau regime declared war on a pretend country that doesn't exist.
The federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act.
How much vitriol do we have to see of honk honk, which is an acronym for Hail Hitler?
You need people like me. So you can point and say, that's the bad guy. That's okay. I'll be the bad guy for you.
okay, so 1 second.
As a pretend flag for a pretend country that doesn't exist. Its vice president is a goat figurine named Phillip, who has an extremely hard time with narcotics.
Okay, so you heard that right. Okay, so I started to talk about this yesterday, but then I kind of shied away from it because I wanted to do some more research. One thing you'll learn about me if you're just new to my channel is that I don't talk about anything unless I have 100% of the facts, because I don't want to be that person who's like spouting off, you know, inaccurate information. So basically, this video I just showed you, that's Jeremy. He's the Raging Dissident on YouTube. He created Diagalon, which, as you've seen on the map, goes from Alaska to Florida. And it was a joke because it was a straight diagonal line across the country, you know, without going around the coast and stuff, that didn't have mandates in place. And the president of this fake country is a frickin' toy goat. Like, I'm not kidding you guys. Okay. So it's actually gone a step further and went through Parliament and the Senate and the House of Commons and the government. And these people invoked an Emergencies Act unlawfully, I might add. It got where people were injured and shit like that. Like, I mean, it was serious, and it's all because of a joke. So that's the first thing that I wanted you guys to see. So then there's more. Hang on, there's more. But wait, there's more. Huh? So, you know, the buzzwords these days are racist, misogynist, what are white supremacist, you know, Nazi, all the big keywords, you know, that they like to throw around. And there was a picture of one of the guys where there's rumors that we're calling an early election, which I hope is the case, because JT's got to go. He's got to go. So I want to show you a picture of the pot calling the kettle black. So 1 second. This is a picture of our Prime Minister at the Calgary Stampede signing a Nazi flag. I want to make sure that you guys get a good picture of this, because he's the one who's going on national television saying, how long are we going to tolerate these people? Yeah, seriously. I don't know if you've even seen that. 1 second. Did you guys see that? This is him at the Calgary Stampede signing a flag, a Nazi flag. But he's on national TV calling all of us Nazis and white supremacists and all of the other, you know, good buzzwords. Whoops. Whoops. Okay, so then there's more, but wait, there's more. Oh, we will get rid of him. Oh my God. If he gets in again, I'm seriously moving to the US, and I'm not even freaking kidding. Like, I've already been asking like this governor dude that I follow, Lieutenant Stephen Rogers. I love him. He's come to Canada's aid. And I'm like, can we seek asylum in the US? Because like, seriously, I'm concerned for our futures. So, okay. So the story gets better. Okay. So there's more, but wait, there's more. So, you know, the last couple of days, it became common knowledge that, you know, I was telling you guys about this inquiry that's supposed to be starting September 19th to the October 28th. And it is, you know, to go through all of the actions with a fine-tooth comb, and hopefully these motherfuckers get the justice that they so rightly deserve. And if it was me, I would have no mercy on their fucking soul. Okay. So there's this girl who I have never heard of, and you know, the clout that they're giving this guy, they're making him famous because it's actually inspired me to go down this rabbit hole even further. So, you know, there's this clip that's come out, and it's you know, from one of the mainstream media journalists, you know, and I hate even using that word, but that's what it is. And so she's making these claims, and so now what's happened is, you know, it's been announced that you know, Jeremy has been asked to go to this inquiry and testify. And rightfully so, because, you know, if they're talking about him in the House of Commons, wouldn't it make sense? You know, in one of his videos, he says, you know, they talk about me, but they don't talk to me, you know, which I seem to see a similar pattern with a lot of people, you know, not just the government, but, you know, those are methods I don't agree with. So hang on, there's more. So this one, I'm going to just play the video and let you hear the audio of it. So 1 second.
Jeremy Mackenzie.
Jeremy Mackenzie.
Jeremy Mackenzie.
You hear that?
This might not be the
Heard
video.
of Jeremy Mackenzie. Diagalon. Jeremy Mackenzie.
And you know what the best part of it is?
Jeremy Mackenzie.
The very best part.
Jeremy Mackenzie.
I did it on purpose because I knew what would happen. This complete piece of work. This piece of human garbage.
Now, Phillip says he shakes hands with Jeremy Mackenzie.
Diagalon is a kind of quasi militia.
Bring down the government, January 6th. Assembled gallows at Parliament, January 6th. You've heard of Jeremy Mackenzie.
And he talks about politics, culture, events. He's with us at RagingDescent.com.
You've heard of a parking meter.
Okay, so that's not the one that I thought it was. 1 second, my bad, you guys. It's kind of hard doing it this way. Maybe I should set up my PC. It would be a lot freaking easier. 1 second. I don't know what this one is either. Hang on. Oh, this one.
I'm tired of a lot of things. But one of the things that's getting near the top of that list is I'm really tired of people in positions of authority, experts, leaders, journalists. They act like there's some kind of courageous moral force in the world fighting evil. It's a joke.
Yeah, it is.
I'm tired of them willing to talk about me, but they will not talk to me or anyone around me, for that matter. They're going to call me things like a white supremacist, a terrorist, a violent person. I've never been convicted of a crime in my life. I've never even been charged in the army for being late for work. I have a spotless service record. In fact, I've been investigated and under surveillance by various police forces and other government institutions for a long time, well over a year, well before I was ever arrested for anything. Why? Because I'm talking. That's the real crime, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because I tell the truth.
Yep.
And they don't like it. Because they're cowards. They're cowardly people. And they act like, some people want to act like this is difficult. This is hard to do. Just telling the truth. It's not hard to do. It's very easy. It's very easy. It just requires that you have some basic human decency and a modicum, an ounce of what used to be considered the spirit of an adult man. That's all. You want to talk about what's hard? You want to talk about courage? You know, these people, these leaders talking all kinds of trash. All you do is prey on stupid, ignorant people, shovel gargantuan amounts of taxpayer money into your face, and act like you're some kind of moral authority, like you're superior. You're scandal-ridden liars. There isn't a page in the book of the history of your life that doesn't have some kind of stain on it. You want to talk about courage? You want to talk about things being hard? Here's a story for you. Imagine being 20 years old in the desert away from your family on the other side of the world, and the people you room with, live with, your friends, your brothers, they get blown to fucking bits by a roadside bomb. Just like that. 1 minute you're eating breakfast with them, the next minute they're gone. One of the guys had to have his face reconstructed. They had to have pictures of him to try and assemble the mess of what was left of his body to make it resemble a human being for the funeral, for the family.
Jesus.
Then you have to go back to work, back out into the very same field, to the same place the next day. Back up, bound up, get your kid on, we're going back out. You think that was it? That was hard. That took courage. That was difficult, and that was scary. So what am I really guilty of? I'll talk to anybody, anytime. I have never been questioned or interviewed by anyone about any of this. I'm some kind of terrorist. I've said numerous times, CSIS, you can come over anytime you want. And I know they watch everything, and they have yet, as of today, not a peep. RCMP, same thing. In fact, nobody's really interested in talking to me or finding out exactly what the hell is going on at all, because I would be more than happy to explain it to you. But you don't want to know because you're not trying to know. You're trying to put me in a box. You could put me in jail to hang your political enemies.
Yep.
That's what you're doing. And why am I your political enemy? Because I tell the truth and you are a liar. I'm the antidote to you. So I got to go. And they can just say whatever they want. Say whatever they want. I get death threats, harassment. I've had property vandalized, vehicles vandalized, people driving by our homes, my home, my partner's home, taking pictures, posting our addresses on the internet, calling us Nazis, calling us terrorists, calling us all kinds of things, encouraging people to, do something about the problem. And, complain to who? Complain why? To the same police that have chosen to single me out as a criminal, guilty before proven innocent in the new Canada. Is that the people I should ask for help?
Exactly.
And they're also happy to just dogpile and jump in on this high school style, a character assassination campaign. That's fine. I like it. We screenshot it all. I'm saving it all because I know what happened. I know what's true and I know what's not true, especially about my own life. So watching you all just lie and perpetuate this, it's music to my ears, because in the long run, in the long test of time, in the books of history that will be written today, tomorrow, and in the future, the truth will come out, and I know exactly what it's going to look like, and I'm not going to be the one crying when it's all over.
Okay, so that is Jeremy Mackenzie, the raging dissident, and he's right. Like I said, our media in Canada is bought and paid for by the federal government, and so now what they've done, since the media, has found out this information that he's going to be testifying at the inquiry that's going to be happening, they've a province called Saskatchewan has now trumped up charges on him from November of last year. Okay, we're in what now? August, so almost a full year later. As a smear campaign. And what he is saying is absolutely the truth. We've seen it happen with other people that were involved with this. They think we're some terrorist and against the government and all of this. But, you can only push someone so far and so hard before they eventually push back. And, what they do to these guys is exactly what they're doing to him, is play psychological warfare. There's no consequences as a person, as a civilian. I can't just go on, social media or out into the world and make claims about people without fact checking, without making sure that, my sources are legit, that the information that I'm sharing is the truth. And these journalists just go on and they dox him and they put himself and his family in jeopardy. He's had, things happen at his house. Something to do with another weapons charge. misuse of a weapon. I don't know exactly what they are, but I could look it up. And when this video posts, I could post the link in the comments, just in the description of this video. But they'll financially ruin you. They'll publicly smear you. And even if he gets off of the charges, you can't undo the damage that's been done. So, you know, he's retired from the military, but what if he wanted to get a job tomorrow? Like, everybody's going to know who he is. A simple Google search of his name will pop up all of these horrible things about this person. His reputation is tarnished. The government will slowly, you know, come in and seize your assets, make you go financially bankrupt if you choose to fight them in court, and, you know, basically hold you in jail without bail, without due process, and just strip you of your rights and treat you like a criminal. And people that are committing actual violent crimes and you know, assault and sexual assault and drugs and all kinds of other offenses are getting out on bail. But, you know, speak up against the government because you don't like what they're doing, and all of a sudden you cannot get bail. And it's a slippery slope that we've gone down. We've seen it happen to multiple others. Some of them are still going through the court processes. Some of them have been stayed, like a stay of proceedings has been called on some of the cases until, you know, this inquiry's been completed, because then, you know, once it's officially deemed, which it already has been in a superior court, deemed as a legal protest, then all of these charges that are being trumped up on people are going to be dropped, and restitution will be made. So, you know, like it's something, what is that saying? There's something wrong in the state of Denmark or something. I can't remember what the saying is, but there's some shady shit going on, okay? Like, bottom line, and we see it. We know it. So, you know, all of a sudden these charges from November pop up from Saskatchewan. One of the ladies who they deemed as the head organizer of this event, because she created a GoFundMe or a crowdfunding campaign, they extradited her back from Alberta. So they actually sent, you know, detectives out to Alberta from Ontario. They flew 4 detectives out. Out of 4, 2 of them were homicide detectives, which I don't fucking understand the reasoning behind that. Maybe if somebody understands the law better, then maybe they can explain that to me, because why is a homicide detective involved in a petty mischief charge? It doesn't make any sense. But they're vilifying them in the media. So this lady that's made it her personal mission, you know, to basically harass this guy, ruin his life, smear his name, destroy his family life. Yeah, doxing is illegal in Canada, but they get away with everything, you know, because they're in the government's back pocket. Like, I mean, you can do no wrong in their eyes. And as the world has now seen, you know, look what happens when you speak up against them, even in a peaceful manner. They bring out, what's that sonic radar boom machine? I was staring that in the face and I didn't know what it was. I had to Google it. I thought it was a freaking tank, but no, it's just to deafen you. Bring in horses that trample people. That's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. You know, that's how we do in Canada. Like, just bring out the cops on horses and use them as assault weapons and try and, you know, basically kill your own people. Bring in, you know, these green thugs from who knows. I've heard they were from Quebec. I've heard they were from the UN. I've heard that they were like a different country even. Nobody fucking knows, because everything about them was covered up. Their name, their badge number, everything, their face. All you could see was these eyes and darkness in those eyes. And it was absolutely fucking terrifying. I went down to Ottawa a couple times. The first time I was there, it was absolutely the best party of my life. Yeah, they did send homicide detectives to intimidate her, but little do they even realize they're so barking up the wrong tree. Like, she's a Métis woman, she's Indigenous, she's actually exempt to any of this, and she hasn't played that card. And you know why she hasn't played that card? Because she knows that legally she's done nothing wrong. None of these people have. And the reason why I take such offense to these things happening here is because it could happen to any fucking one of us. And I am one of those people, much like him, who think outside the box, outside of, you know, maybe what is what the bullshit is that they're trying to sell you. I'm not buying it, right? And I'm very vocal about my opinions, hence why I've lost a few YouTube channels. You know, and then, you know, my prior channel that I lost due to Feldman, I seen the same thing happen. I seen that fucking guy go to court with memes trying to say that his life was being threatened because of memes. And he was granted temporary restraining orders. And then when push came to shove and it came time to fight those temporary restraining orders, he didn't show up for court. His life's so in danger, but he couldn't show up to court. So I've seen this actually happen, you know, and it's crazy what they're getting away with. And, you know, I hope that a small part of me still wants to believe that the right thing is going to happen and justice will prevail. And like the truth's already out. You know, like I said, what started off as a peaceful protest to just simply end the mandates uncovered so much more. It uncovered the corruption with the politicians, with the banks, with the media. It exposed the World Economic Forum, and, you know, people are talking about it. And a lot of other things that if I say on here, I'm going to get flagged and this channel will be removed and I'll have to start over again, which, hey, you know, maybe the third time's a charm. So I don't know. But I always seem to get in trouble on these YouTube streets. But I'm not going to stop speaking the truth. I'm going to follow this case closely, see what happens. He's been making the rounds, like I said, on YouTube, on some really big, huge platforms. You know, our media here won't do what a journalist is supposed to do and actually contact the source and interview the source. One of the guys that were involved with the Freedom Convoy, his name is Pat King. He was one of the political prisoners that they held for, I believe it was over 150 days in jail without a bail review. Okay. Treacherous things happened to this man while he was in jail. And all of his rights were stripped as a human being. And, you know, it would have cost him over $100,000, I believe, just to fight. And it's still in the courts. So, I mean, you know, we still have to see how that plays out. And there's a publication ban on that one. And it's because, like, you know, they've already tried you before you've even gone through the court process. Like, what happened to due process? That's in our Constitution. Everyone has the right to an unprejudicial trial. And we're not even getting a fucking fair bail hearing. Like, what the hell is that? And that's, like I said, you know, if it could happen to them, if it's happening to them, it could happen to anyone. And if people don't stand up when they see something wrong and say, hey, that's bullshit, that's not right, what you're doing is fucking illegal. And to the cops and to, you know, the banks that went along with all of these unlawful orders, it's already come out, like we've already seen it in the government, in the parliamentary proceedings, that you can't doctor even if you wanted to, that it says we had no directives from the police to do these things. It was the government. It was Trudeau, because you can't go against this guy's ego. His ego is the size of the fucking world, I'm telling you. And he doesn't like it when people go up against him. Well, you know what? Sorry about your luck, bud. Everyone fucking hates you. You're a laughing stock. You know, even like in the World Summit forums and stuff, like they make jokes about him, and they don't even want him involved in those meetings, like in the G20 summits and all that shit. Everybody hates him. And he's a laughing stock of Canada, and we want him gone. We wanted him gone yesterday. It's a deep fucking rabbit hole, you know, but it's corruption at its highest level. And I don't go for it. And I don't care who's behind the corruption. I don't care if it's the frickin' Pope. I don't care who it is. If you are doing shit that is arbitrarily going to ruin someone's life, you're going to take all their assets, you're going to tie them up in years of court, drain every financial resource they have, ruin their reputation, destroy their family, make them to the point that they're, you know, unhinged, then I say, you know, hell hath no fury. Let's go, get in here. Sorry, I'm yelling at my dog to get in the house. He's barking. He's got a loud mouth. Hi, Teresa. How are you? So yeah, like, I mean, that's the reason why this means so much to me. This isn't the Canada I know. This isn't what I grew up in. This is a police state, and I'm not used to that shit. And you know, like, you know, good luck fighting the police or the government. See how that works out for you. You know what I mean? You have to choose your battles wisely. And I personally wouldn't want to be one in their shoes, but I could very easily be. You know, all it takes is for someone to make up a meme or take something out of context, and a simple meme with a black background, a white line going from Alaska to Florida, showing that they had no mandates, making it a fake world called Diagalon, with a president as a toy goat named Phillip, And this is what constitutes an Emergencies Act that resulted in people's bank accounts being frozen and closed, for people to be trampled by frickin' police on horses, for brutality against human beings. Like they attacked us. They turned on us. And who do you call when 911's the problem? Think about that for a second. And it's tougher times are coming. I hate to say it, but I might be American soon because I don't agree with what's going on here. I don't like what's happening. You know, we're supposed to be like peace loving, you know, hippies that smoke weed, and you know, that's our thing. Like, I mean, get up on the bed. Come on. Talking to my dog, sorry. But yeah, stay tuned for more. When this video posts, I will post links to The Raging Dissident. The guy is freaking hilarious. So if you ever want some entertainment, you know, aside from the entertainment that we see all the time on here, which is good, don't get me wrong. But if you're looking for a different change of pace and to see like some serious shit that's happening in real time, then I suggest looking him up. So thanks for joining me, and I will probably see you guys all in another stream real soon. Thanks. Peace out, guys.